Welcome, everyone. I'm excited to kick off our journey into one of the most captivating stories in literature. Today, we'll be exploring A Friend in Prison, the third chapter of the Count of Monte Cristo *. Over the next few slides, we'll delve into the key events and themes that make this chapter so intriguing. So, let's get started and uncover the secrets behind this gripping part of the story. On June 18th, 1815, Napoleon faced one of his most decisive moments at the Battle of Waterloo. This battle marked the end of his military and political career. Unfortunately for him, he was defeated, and as a result, he was sent into exile on the remote island of St. Helena. It's there that he spent his final years and eventually, he passed away. This event signifies a major turning point in history, illustrating how even the most powerful figures can face downfall. Now, moving on, after Napoleon's exile, Edmond's father also faced a tragic loss. He died soon after Napoleon's defeat. But in this difficult time, we see the kindness of Monsieur Morel, who paid for Edmond's father's funeral. This moment reminds us of the importance of compassion and support during tough times, which ties into the broader themes of loyalty and resilience we're exploring in this presentation. And that marks the end of Napoleon's story, a story that continues to influence history and the lessons we learn from it. Now, let's talk about Villefort's decision to move to Toulouse. He chose this new town in the south of France, a place where he could really start fresh. By relocating, he aimed to build his career without the constant shadow of his past following him around. He married Renée Saint-Méran, which marked a new chapter in his life. Leaving Marseille behind was a strategic move, perhaps because he felt that in the port city, too many people knew about his secrets and his involvement in Edmond's imprisonment. This move symbolized a fresh start for Villefort. It was about carving out a new life, away from the old associations that could threaten his ambitions and reputation. Overall, this decision to settle in Toulouse was a crucial step in his journey to rebuild and redefine himself. Now, let's take a closer look at what happened after Edmond's betrayal. Both men involved in the crime realized that their wicked plan had serious consequences. They knew they had destroyed an innocent man's life. The guilt and fear of Edmond's possible return haunted them continuously, pushing them to leave the scene and disappear from their previous lives. Fernand, who had ambitions to marry Mercedes, also decided to flee. Instead of facing the fallout, he joined the French army, seeing military service as both a way to escape and a fresh start. Meanwhile, Danglars, who had coveted Edmond's position as captain of the Pharaon, was consumed by fear of retribution. To protect himself, he left Marseille altogether and headed to Spain. Hopping that distance would keep him safe from any revenge. These actions show how fear and guilt can drive people to drastic measures, emphasizing the theme of how crime can have far-reaching consequences for everyone involved. After Edmond's father passed away, it was Monsieur Morel who kindly stepped in to cover the funeral expenses. This act of kindness was crucial during such a difficult time. Following this, Mercedes found herself completely alone. The young woman who once radiated joy and hope was now overwhelmed by sorrow. Her heart was broken by the loss of Edmond, the man she loved dearly. What makes this even more heartbreaking is that she had no idea what had truly happened to him or if he was even alive. She spent her days crying for him, holding on to the hope that someday they might be reunited. But at this moment, she was filled with despair, living only with the memories of their love. This scene highlights not only her deep personal loss, but also underscores the themes of love, hope, and heartbreak that run throughout the story. The inspector, showing curiosity, wanted to see these unusual prisoners first. He took along 2 guards, and they descended into the underground cells, which are the darkest and coldest part of the prison, really the place where hope seems to go to die. As they moved through, it was clear that conditions were harsh and intimidating. The guards warned him that most prisoners would claim innocence and desperately want freedom, but among them, there are 2 particularly interesting ones, one who is mad and another who is dangerous. This highlights the complexity and danger lurking within the prison walls, and also sets the stage for the significance of these prisoners in our story. A year after the king's return to France, the prison inspector came to visit Château d'If. The governor greeted him with a knowing smile, indicating he was aware of the importance of this visit. This visit marks a key moment, connecting the themes of justice, confinement, and the mysterious characters that inhabit these dark spaces. After Edmond's visit, he clung to hope for several weeks, believing that the inspector would help him gain his freedom. He thought, surely, someone would see his innocence and take action. But as time went on and weeks turned into months and then years, that hope started to fade. Instead of relief, Edmond felt more miserable than ever, only 19 years old and facing what seemed like a lifetime alone in darkness. Then something changed. The inspector approached him and said, "Leave it to me, young man. I can't promise anything, but I'll see what I can do." That moment was crucial because it showed that someone was willing, at least trying, to help. The inspector and the governor exchanged knowing smiles, hinting that they might be able to make a difference. Finally, the inspector entered Edmond's cell, and he was so overwhelmed with hope that he jumped up in delight. This moment marked a turning point, because Edmond believed that at last, someone might help him prove his innocence and get him out of imprisonment. This part of his story highlights the importance of hope and perseverance, even when the odds seem stacked against us. You've just heard a dramatic scene involving a character who believes he has hidden treasure. Notice how he tries to persuade others by claiming there's a large reward for helping him find this treasure. He's very eager and even offers a share of it in exchange for assistance. However, the response from the other character, in this case, his son, is firm. "I'm sorry, Father, I can't help you." This highlights a crucial point. Sometimes, even when someone offers something valuable, we need to stand our ground and make our own choices. Then we see the father, not willing to give up, threatening to keep the treasure himself and saying goodbye. It shows his stubbornness and belief in his own cause, regardless of others' refusal. Next, the scene shifts to the authorities, the governor whispering to the inspector about the old priest, calling him the mad one. This is important because it shows how the authorities perceive the priest as someone who's a bit unwell or obsessed, believing he has treasure hidden. They note that he might even try to bribe the inspector, which underscores his desperation or perhaps his cunning. This part connects to our overall theme of understanding characters' motives and perceptions, how they see themselves and others. So, in summary, this scene illustrates themes of greed, stubbornness, and perception, key ideas that resonate throughout our story and help us understand the characters' motivations better. Sometimes, the priest talked of his secret treasure hidden on the island of Monte Cristo, but Edmond always replied, "Your teaching is the only treasure I want, Father." This phrase really highlights the deep bond they shared and how Edmond valued knowledge and the guidance he received more than any material wealth. The slide also emphasizes the incredible role Father Faria played as a teacher and a father figure. Over the years, he taught Edmond everything he knew: languages, natural medicines, different cultures, and famous writers. These lessons were not just about facts. They were about shaping Edmond's mind and spirit. And as a result, they grew to love each other like father and son, which shows how powerful mentorship and compassion can be in transforming someone's life. Then we see a dramatic turning point. Suddenly, a stone fell out of the wall and a gray head appeared in the hole. It was Father Faria himself, who had secretly dug a tunnel from his cell to Edmond's. This moment reveals the incredible ingenuity and hope that Father Faria carried, even in captivity. One night, while Edmond was lying awake on his hard bed, he heard a noise in the wall beside him. At first, he thought it was another prisoner digging a tunnel, and he felt a surge of excitement. Using pieces of a broken plate, Edmond decided to start digging too. This shows how Edmond's desire for freedom and his resourcefulness were sparked by Father Faria's secret plan. Overall, this part of the story highlights themes of hope, perseverance, and the importance of mentorship. It's about how knowledge, trust, and cleverness can help someone overcome even the most difficult circumstances. Now, in this part of the story, Edmond's anger and desire for revenge become very clear. he famously declares, "I'll take my revenge on them one day," showing just how deeply he resents those who wronged him. He firmly believes, "They'll be sorry for what they did to me," which highlights his strong motivation for justice, albeit through revenge. Next, we see that Edmond recognizes his enemies. These are the three men who conspired against him. They are the ones responsible for sending him to prison. Each of them has their own motives. Villefort, for example, wanted to save his own skin because his father, Monsieur Noirtier, was closely allied with Napoleon. Edmond had seen his father's name on an envelope from Elba, which Villefort knew could threaten his own position. Then there's Villefort's personal conflict. He also wanted to marry Mercedes, but when he saw Edmond happy with her, his feelings turned to hatred. This personal jealousy added fuel to his actions against Edmond. Fernand's story reveals even more ambition. He wanted Edmond's position as captain of the Pharaon. His jealousy and desire for power drove him to try to destroy Edmond's future, to eliminate his competition. Finally, Danglars played a different role. Father Faria, who had been listening carefully to Edmond's story of his arrest, was able to explain why Edmond had been falsely accused. This reveals that the truth about Edmond's imprisonment is more complex than it first appears, and it sets the stage for the bigger revelations to come. Overall, this slide helps us understand the deep-seated motives behind the characters' actions and how their personal ambitions and fears contributed to Edmond's wrongful imprisonment. It's a key moment that ties into the theme of betrayal and the pursuit of justice. And here we see the dramatic moment when Edmond's escape reaches its climax. The sea, which was once the graveyard of the Château d'If, transforms into Edmond's gateway to freedom and revenge. Imagine the moment he's flying through the air, pulled down by the weight of stones. It's a terrifying yet pivotal point. He crashes into the icy water, but that icy water is also the key to his escape. Earlier, we saw how he was tied with stones and thrown over the castle walls, a cruel and calculated attempt to silence him forever. Yet, that very act, being thrown into the sea, becomes his route to liberation. That night, the guards, unaware of Edmond's secret plan, pick up the heavy sack he's hidden inside and carry it outside. And the most crucial part, when Father Faria dies, he entrusts Edmond with the secret of a treasure on Monte Cristo Island. Edmond cleverly hides inside the priest's burial sack, and when the guards throw it into the sea, he seizes his chance to escape. This moment marks the turning point, Edmond's journey from captivity to freedom, setting the stage for his quest for revenge. It's a powerful reminder of how hope and cleverness can turn even the darkest circumstances into opportunities for a new beginning.